Hey, what's happening? In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can use AI to completely replace your marketing team. And I know you can do it because I did it in my business. If we've never met, my name is Frank Kern. I've been selling things online full time since 1999. That's 26 years, which is like a billion internet years. I have been paid by over 83,000 and counting entrepreneurs to help them with their marketing in some way, shape, or form. None of this really matters to you, with the exception of over these 26 years, I've developed a system for consistently getting good results with marketing. And I've been able to replace myself with AI. So I'm going to show you how I did it and how you can replace yourself too, if you want to. So with all of this in mind, how do you do it with AI? Well, funny you should ask. Just so happens that the AI software that my family owns, called oJoy.ai, has a tool that does this. And here's what's unique about it. And I'll show you exactly how to use this in a minute. And I'll use my own business as an example so you can see how I do it in my day-to-day life. So let's get into it. oJoy.ai, which you're looking at here, has got several really powerful tools. And one of them, which is the one that replaces a marketing team, is called Chief Revenue Officer. And I'm not going to make you watch me type all this stuff in here because it'll get boring. But I used it a couple weeks ago, and you start a conversation, like, I need to make more sales. And it does exactly what a good marketing team would do, which is like, okay, specifically, what do you want to do? And I was like, all right, I want to increase my trials by 100 trials every month for oJoy.ai. And I don't want to increase it significantly more than that because we are taking the slow, take it easy growth thing. So it's like, cool, okay. When do you want it to happen? I'm like, I want it to happen in the next 30 days. By the way, I had this conversation on the 17th of January. So it's like, all right, cool. This is what you want to do. And now it's asking me how the business works. Remember, and our very second thing we do after getting a specific target is we get all the stuff, all the moving pieces that you've got in the business, right? Because we're going to try to find the lowest hanging fruit. Like, what's the one thing we can do right now to hit this specific goal fastest, or at least to move us closer to that goal? So it's asking me, all right? So I tell it all about oJoy, like yada, yada, yada. A 7-day trial. We got 53% of trials turn into paid customers, which is pretty cool. And I'm telling it, we don't want to grow too fast. So we typically get around 250 a month. And I want to bring it up to 350. It's like, all right, man, where are those coming from? I mean, it's basically just asking stuff like an actual marketing consultant or chief revenue officer or chief marketing officer. So I'm like, yeah, most of our traffic comes from YouTube. We don't make clickable ads, just branding stuff, which is working very well, by the way. And then it's asking me, do I have an email list and stuff? And I'm like, yeah. And so it's confirming everything. And this is where it gets interesting. So if you're working with a team, then they need to ask you stuff like, hey, what was your best month ever? And the reason they need to ask you that is because a lot of times, and I can tell you this from experience, a lot of times a person who owns a business will do something that worked really, really well, and then they'll just not do it anymore. So first thing this thing's going to try to do is see if there's a situation like that where we can kind of do the thing that worked again. And that's what happened on the 17th. So conversation kind of went like this, make it easy and less boring. It was like, hey, what was your best month? And I was like, well, in May, I did this 14-day trial and it worked really, really well. And we got a ton of trials, but I don't want to get that many trials. It was like, okay, cool. What was it about? And I was like, well, it was my birthday. And I was like, hey, it's my birthday. Let's have a special offer. Instead of, 7 days, let's do a 14-day trial. And I was like, okay. And this is cool. And you can see in the conversation the logic it's using. And if you're using humans or AI, it needs to be able to perform this type of logic. It's like, okay, cool. So in May, you ran a birthday themed 14-day trial and you got 800 people. Okay, that's 3 times more than your normal. So running a special promotion works really well. You just don't want to unleash it on the entire list because you don't want 800 trials again. By the way, the 800 trials worked out fine. I'm the only tech guy by design, so I want to make sure everybody has a good experience. That's all. So anyway, it was like, you want controlled growth here. So you don't have to mail your whole list. You could run the exact same promotion, but strip away the birthday angle. So it knew, all right, obviously it's not going to be your birthday again here in January is when I ran this thing. So come up with a new reason why and only send it to a few people. So it helped me actually brainstorm the reason why, which was we created a new onboarding process for oJoy. So it's like, yeah, man, just tell them that you want to see how well the onboarding process works because it's true. And I was like, okay, that'll work out pretty well. So it's like, all right, man. And then I wanted to figure out, how do I present that? What it does, and this is what's neat about this, is it tells me to go to Project Shepard, which is our implementation tool in oJoy.ai. It does the words and stuff. This is our AI copywriter. And it just tells me that I need to tell it. So I just actually asked it this just so I could demonstrate this to you, because I knew I would end up using this case study in the video. I was like, well, how's Project Shepard going to know about my offer, man? What the hell? So finally, we end up going back and forth, and it's like, all right, man, just go to Project Shepard and tell it this. Say, here's my normal sales page. Here's the one from my May birthday promotion, and write me some emails and help me make a new sales page and stuff. And it was like, pick your deadline and then make sure you don't send it to your entire list. Go forth and prosper. And it's like, and then when you're done, let me know what happens. All right. And that's important. You always want to let it know what happened so it can help you. Like, that works great. You can make it an automated part of your system or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll do that. I like to work backwards. So I started with the sales letter, and I went and I grabbed my sales letter from the May promo that worked really well, and I fed it to Project Shepard, and I'll show you what it did. So here's what Project Shepard looks like. And I was like, this is a sales letter I wrote for a promotion, worked real good. It's for my birthday, outline it and stuff, and we're going to rewrite it. So I just pasted this whole giant sales letter here. I'm a big fan of copying and pasting stuff into AI instead of uploading PDFs. It just reads it better. So anyway, did all that. And then like right after I started redoing the sales letter, I was like, you know what, man, if I tell them that I'm testing the new onboarding process and I want to see how they like it, I'm just going to get a lot of people that want to check out the onboarding process. They're probably not really going to be that interested in becoming customers. And I was like, why don't I tell them about Chief Revenue Officer? It's a new feature and it's freaking cool. So instead of ultimately cloning my May sales letter and using the new onboarding process as a reason for this promo, I ended up redoing everything and just still the same concept. But I was like, let's make it about this new feature, Chief Revenue Officer. So on and on and on. And it took me probably between working with AI and like manually tweaking stuff, about 45 minutes or so to get the sales letter done. But check out what ended up happening. I gave the sales copy to Gemini, which I've never done this before. And I was like, hey, I want you to build me a landing page using this sales copy, but I want you to use the best industry standards for conversion rate optimization as of today. And this was on the 17th of January. So as of today, January 17th, 2026. And it took my copy and it created like this fancy looking web page here. And it's like kind of minimal, So it told me, it was like, hey, cut out a lot of your copy and, use these graphics. And I kind of had to argue with it a little bit because the first draft that Gemini wanted to make just had like a headline and two little thingies, like, buy now button. I was like, dude, that's not really going to cut it. And I was a little bit nervous about this. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it ended up working. So this is the sales letter that oJoy wrote for me. And then I slapped it into the Gemini 3 and it made it look fancy. Never done that before. Super easy. Who would have guessed? All right. So next up was the emails. So what I did was I gave it the original super long sales letter that oJoy wrote for me. And I was like, hey, read this sales letter and write me a bunch of emails for it. And it's, a deadline sequence. And the deadline is going to be ending on the 19th of January at 11 a.m. So it did. And that was cool. So it wrote the entire email sequence for me. And that probably took me like another 20 minutes or so, mainly because I just like to tweak little things. You know what I mean? And the net effect of what happened is I ended up from that promo, which it only ran from the 18th through the 19th, because I was too slow to get it out on Friday. So I just did, or whatever it was, Saturday or Sunday and Monday. Anyway, it got 62 trials. And here's what's interesting about this is I took the angle in the emails. I was like, hey, this probably is not for you. If you don't have a real business and if you're not actually getting leads and customers and stuff regularly, this isn't going to help you and it's going to be a waste of your time. But if you are getting leads and customers regularly, then this thing's really cool. And that was kind of the theme of all the emails, which is why I didn't get as much traffic as I normally do, but boy, did it convert. Look at that, 11% conversion on that sales page. So I got 62 new trials from that. Now what's interesting about this is these guys have converted at 57%, and my normal conversion rate is 53%. That's trial to customer. So that whole disqualifying thing, where I was like, hey, if you don't have a real business, then like don't mess with this. That ended up paying off. So at this stage, the question becomes, all right, well now are you going to keep running the same promotion over and over again? And the answer is no. So the way that Chief Revenue Officer works is once it finds all of the lowest hanging fruit for you, and I'll see if I can get it to do this for us real quick. So I came over here and I told it, which isn't true, by the way. I still have plenty more email campaigns to build based on what it's capable of, but I just pretended so I could show you this. I was like, all right, we're out of email stuff to do. Now let's optimize the funnel. Essentially, let's make the sales process better. And it asked me a bunch of questions and everything. And I was like, I don't want to get more people every month. This is cool for now. And then it asked me my average customer value, which according to Stripe is around $400. And it's like, okay, this is cool. You should add an order bump. And that normally would be great advice. The challenges is, it was like, the challenges are, is what I meant to say. It was like, you could offer any of these things as an order bump. I mean, they check a little box to get extra stuff, but they don't need any of this because they already get it all for free. So it's like, dude, I can't do that. So it's like, okay, well then let's maybe do a one-click upsell. So let's watch how it handles this thing. It's saying, okay, you could do like a skip the trial and lock in quarterly billing at X% off, which incidentally was my suggestion. It would have come to that conclusion anyway, probably, but let's see. So for now, it's $49 a month. I'm probably going to raise the price because Chief Revenue Officer is attracting more sophisticated businesses that would use it more. But for now, it's, $49 a month if they want to keep it after the trial. And I would prefer to do like a quarterly thing, skip the trial, upgrade to quarterly and get a discount. That would be cool. That's one of the advantages of this tool is you can just talk to it like a normal person. This was originally built just for me, by the way. And then I started offering it to the public, I forgot, in December of 2024. So we're still pretty new company, And it's suggesting this is an order bump, and I think it would be better as a one-click upsell, and I think it should be a better deal. And so I'm going to tell it. And that's the thing about AI, even with this, sometimes you know better. I always joke around, I'm like, the ultimate secret weapon is AI plus HI, which is artificial intelligence combined with human intelligence of all things. So I'm going to use what little human intelligence I have left. And I'm going to say, when you do an order bump, there's just not enough room to put the copy on the order form. So instead, let's do a one-click upsell. And I'm not sure that a $20 savings is enough to make them really motivated to do it. So given that information, what would you suggest? So it's like, all right, dude, then to 3 months for $98. Let's see what happens. And I like that. And then it's like, if they say no to quarterly, try annual. So, okay, let's see what happens. All right. So I'll tell it, okay, cool. So what am I supposed to say? How do I pitch that? Tell me how to pitch each one and tell me what to do. And now it's given me the prompt to paste into Project Shepard. Now, when you paste something like this into Project Shepard, if you've ever used it, you'll know what this is like. It'll ask you clarifying questions if it needs it, So I'm cool with a simple little couple sentences prompt like this because it'll extract further information for me to write the landing pages and stuff. And then here's the prompt for the annual version. So all I got to do is just get that copy done and slap it on a web page and see what happens. I probably will do it. And if I do, I'll update you on what happens. But this is how you replace yourself in terms of marketing or replace a marketing team, because really the way to grow a business is to consistently be making offers and improving your sales process. So you're either building your list every day, making new offers every day. It could be the same offer positioned differently, following up with people, and tweaking little things in your sales process to optimize it. And this will do it for you. Or of course, you could just not do it and be overwhelmed or spend a bunch of money on a marketing team, which may or may not be good. It really depends on the team. But this is working excellently for me, and I'm stoked on it. And if you want to try it, you can. Try it for free. oJoy.ai. All right. Thanks so much for watching this. Hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.